Like, if we can, I don't know how we're going to do it with 215 people, but last time we took speedboats, like we got, a bunch of group on speedboats. It was fun. We went through the caves, because you can't get the big boats in the caves, so they have these little, speedboats so you can take in. And we found one of the activation sites for this. So I don't know. They had us project down in and actually project to do astral projection, or at least start mental body projection to get there and to go down in our akashas, literally under the water, and pop up in the temple of Kamelohati, which is the name of their temple in the Azure position. There's something interesting about this, and they wanted me to bring it out. They also wanted to show a little bit more of the Hitharo experience. I find it fascinating that we're going to be shattered. Everything's going to be shattered into pieces and not know it, because it's going to be held in a static field. It's like a divine net, just like the Wysodex created an artificial net. This is a natural net that will allow the templates to ever so gently, whatever is twisted goes into the twisted way, and whatever's not twisted goes into this way. Whatever's base 8 goes base 8, and whatever's base 12 goes base 12. It's going to be an interesting experience, to say the least. This graph, I'm sure, will evolve a lot, and we'll learn more about this. But what I think is happening is this thing that starts out as this little bubble, it expands inside of the Metatronic atom, and then it goes through this period where it shatters the templates and holds them in stasis. Then the sword currents reassemble once the stasis period is over, and that's when the shields start to separate, where literally you'd have two Cathara grids. One would be like a ghost image of the other. And some of us will be on one, and some of us will be on the other. And I think it goes in stages where it expands. They said the 6 stages where the separations of the shields would occur, that the first one is this one. I would imagine that's probably this one. And then they will separate this way and this way. And by 2012, all of this, that will be the final 3 levels of separation. I'm not sure which levels they are, but they might be the lowest ones. But they also might be the highest ones. See, there's a lot more technicals that we need to get through. This stuff was all new. But I wanted to share that with you. I was getting kind of inspired to do that. I usually don't draw freehand diagrams while in class. There's one more thing I did want to show you are the crystal pylon temples, just so you get an idea of what these look like. And these are puny compared to the ones that they have in Inner Earth. And I was taken there when I was a kid a number of times. And okay. And they were very, very, these are very small compared to it. These are real pictures. This is a friend of ours who had gone, she just got this right before we were getting the information on the crystal temples. She was invited by a friend of hers who was a scientist to go on this expedition in Mexico, because he was friends with whatever the Mexican government people, and they were going in. It was an official scientific expedition, and for some reason, I don't know why he invited me, but I'll go. What is it they found? And she went down, and this is her. She was allowed to get some pictures taken down there. But look at the size of these. These are selenite crystals. And it's the selenite primarily, sometimes amethyst, but mostly selenite is what are used in running the Templar, the big ones anyway. They're the prime anchoring ones. There were other ones too. We have a couple. She made these for us, the Mylars for us, to share with you. And it was really, really hot down here, by the way. It was 100 and something degrees, and you could only stay in for 5 minutes before you literally went into problems, physical problems from the heat level. It was over 200 in some places, yeah. They went down with oxygen and all of that stuff, and it was get in and get out.
The scientists can't figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't possibly do it, so they couldn't be so big.
Right.
Science understanding.
Yeah, and there's a lot of controversy over these that you don't hear much about. There is a website somewhere. I don't know if she has it on this. www.crystalsnow.com. Okay. And they her name is Leela Hutchins, and she's got more. She's collecting information on all of this, so there's more information because we don't have time to go researching this stuff. But this was amazing evidence, and how it came to us too. She happened to come to the Kauai, Hawaii workshop, and that's where they're introducing the stuff on the Crystal Pylon Temple networks and that kind of thing. And she shows up with the pictures. Cool. It was one of those. Thank you. But these kind of things are actually real. In this particular discovery of the crystals, they had been cloaked for quite a long time with the cloaking fields, but when they started to need to use them, see, these are transmitting the Metatronic pulses, and when And I have the picture sealed, by the way, so it can't transmit at you, because they can do photosonic transmission through photo images. But if you seal them with D12, they can't. But what fascinated the scientists was some of these crystals are so large that they should be really, really old, and they're not. Some of them are like what would be considered the age of baby crystals, yet they're massive, and they can't figure out quite why that is. And that's really because they were brought from somewhere else. These are part of the Nibiruan dyadic crystal grid, where some of these weren't organic to Earth. They were brought in and seeded or spliced in, like you can splice and graft plants. It's called crystal seeding. You can graft crystals just like you can graft plants if you know what you're doing. And these were grafted in. These are some of the evidence of the ones that were grafted in to our system that actually weren't indigenous to our planet. But there's also ones that go, crystal networks like this, that go with the natural structures of our stargates and of the Q sites and things. So there may be a time, they did say in the next couple of years that because of everything that's activating, there would be more and more discoveries of the crystal caverns. So I don't know, and I don't know why they kind of brought all those pieces kind of together with a big question mark in my head, so I could share that question mark with you. We can all ponder it together. I don't know what it means either. But I do know they have to activate fully their number 7 gate and their number 6 gate. Number 6 Q site would be in India, and number 7 Q site is in Paxos, and that's why we're going there. I wonder if that means either we expand into there and pop up there or something for a little bit, or if we find things that aren't there normally, like crystals that haven't been found. I don't know. I mean, it's like something's going to happen there. I don't know what it is, but there's 215 people so far showing up. And it's like, I know this is because they have an appointment. With what, I don't know. We have an appointment, that's why we're going. We don't know with what either. But it's all very, very, it's almost like this is as close and as intimate that you can get to the action as the Paxos trip. And I think that's why, it was kind of like a high council calling or something. It has to do with helping them, I think, activate the Q Site 7 to bring in the full spectrum of their Temple 7 currents, so that can latch on and help do its share in pulling the Metatronic atom apart. So, I don't know, but I know we're going to be spending all night on that night, out on an island that has like no lights, no plumbing, out in the middle of the ocean. It's going to be really neat. It's like right off Paxos. So it's going to be an interesting trip, and they want it. Yeah, and there's the remains of an old castle on it, too. So it's like this strange relic island out off Paxos, which is quite small itself. So I don't know why, but they wanted me to share that with you. There's more to come on the Stonehenge thing, and I have a feeling. The way it seems to work is you go on one workshop, and you do the stuff there, and it's the next workshop that you find out what you did, right? Because I have a feeling we're going to find out more about what's going on here in the Ireland workshop. I just have a feeling. That's the next one, right? And that's February. So I know that right now at Stonehenge there is a big golden X mark running through the grids. Now what it is, it looks kind of like that, like the beginning of that. This has to do with what began on November 5th when we went to France, and that's we were going to France because Stargate 12 was beginning its initiation cycle, and that means something called a monadic infusion, or the gold wave monadic infusion, which is a natural thing, starts coming through the planetary Templar. What isn't a natural thing is part of the beast apparatus is that there is a beam called, and this is in the Bible, it was called the golden censer. It's in Revelations where they talk about the golden censer coming, and I forget what it was supposed to do, but this is what they're referring to. The golden censer is actually a monadic reversed D8 gold current that comes in and sets the anchoring rod for the blue sword to come in behind it. And the natural gold wave infusion comes in to kind of set the anchoring rod for the natural Amareya flames, or the natural pillar 13. What began initiating when we were in France were both of these beams starting to come in. I remember we got hit with the golden sensor pulse. We could feel it run through, and it was nasty. I mean, everybody it like stirred up everybody's emotional bodies, and everybody's like wanting to fight with each other for no reason. And then there was the shakes. There was shakes afterward, and there was one lady that had a seizure. And we went into an epileptic seizure. And it was pretty intense. It was like, can we get out of this place, please? So what's happening right now is through the thing that was read to you earlier today, that was the new information that came through this morning, it kind of explained that this weird little interface network that's going down. But this is what we're seeing. We're seeing one of ours where our interface, we've interfaced with their gold sensor pulse, and one is their gold sensor pulse coming in. And this is the beginning of setting the ability for the two, for the Amareya flame, or the Amareya arcs, and the blue sword arcs to interface so the Hitharo can take place. And somebody had asked, is it safe to go to Stonehenge right now? And it's like, if you have your flame body activated, yeah. But I wouldn't just take just anybody there, because what it's doing right now is beginning to transmit. And once these gold pulses start to go, once these monadic pulses start, they're not like a little burst of psychotronics that they turn them on, they turn them off again. These stay on, and they continue to build and accelerate in the grids. They're meant to accelerate the grids to receive the next level of frequency. So right now, your Stonehenge is activating right underneath us here, and it's activating on both. So depending on how much Metatronic current, like Metatronic implantation you have, if you had some of those implants activated already because you went to workshops and you didn't realize that's what they were doing to you or something like that, I would work with the flame body stuff a little bit more before I go to a place like that, because if it's coming in strong enough and you just started your flame body initiations, it might be enough to kick up the implants on you and give you a hard time with getting your shields activated. But if you it's kind of like a personal thing. We don't teach anybody to be afraid to go anywhere. The idea is to get your flame activated so you can walk anywhere, even where angels fear to tread. So just be aware that Stonehenge is activating. That also means that the entire, what they call the Michael Mary line, including all of the Michael churches and all of those things that are all connected to it, they're all activating. All the smaller sites, like, was it Avebury? Is that how you pronounce that? They will all activate. Avebury. They will all activate with this, because they are all connected to this. They're all connected down into Rennes-le-Château and up into, what's that place, Edinburgh? Edinburgh in Scotland? Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah. These are all the Knights Templar connections. All right. Yeah. So they are beginning the subharmonic activations of the blue sword. They're doing the D8 level, so it looks gold. And then there's the other current coming in that could actually help amplify yours, but I would play with your own a little bit first. See, you don't ever have to do these activations again if you just use the technique to sustain it. But if you want to, take the opportunity that you have now. You've got the codes. We've got till May. If you want to use them to amplify, you can. You're not going to hurt yourself with them. And it doesn't hurt. We can't wait to get home and play with them. I mean, we haven't been able to literally sit down and do anything except collapse by the time we sit down since, like, early September. Yeah, really. I mean, some of the students, the people who are students in the workshops have more time to work with the stuff than we do. It comes down and the next bunch comes down. We get activated as it goes through, and then it's on to the next one. So I would suggest play with them. They're fun. I mean, you can hang them on your walls and play with them, just like stare at them. You can color them like pictures, have children color them. This is one way you could help your kids. If you have children or kids, and they like to color or something, let them color them in. They'll still be picking it up. And if their avatar level wants them to have that activation, which it would, their Christos avatar would want them to have that activation, because none of the Christos avatars want to lose any of their parts to this. If they're too far gone, it wouldn't activate them anyway. But if they're not, it would give them some frequency support. I've seen the other side do that with coloring books for children, with very pretty, drawn almost like mandala-like things, and they were activating the Metatronic coding in the implants. I mean, this is a very secret science, a very sneaky science, the way it's practiced on the planet. We're not sneaky about it. We just kind of tell you like it is. That's one of the reasons I don't like us. But I think that's everything. Is that everything? Did we cover everything? Oh, yeah, the Beta-Hoover scan, did they get those yet? Yes. Okay. I apologize for not having it typeset yet. But there just wasn't time. The pages you got for the Beta-Hoover scan, that it was given to us in France, and it was like, kind of like done on the road, and at least we were able to get them copied. You can follow the steps enough where you can start playing with that. There will be a more official version of that will be much longer as well, because that's just the beginning. That's like, there are so many things that you can find out about yourself, your incarnational history, all sorts of stuff when you start to play with the Beta-Hoover scan. And they did say that in Contact, or in the Paxos workshop, the Dance for Joy, they're going to go into like Contact 2 and 3, and they're going to show us how to use the Beta-Hoover scan as a contact tool and also as a manifestation tool. So this ought to be interesting. I don't know what that one's going to be about because they haven't showed me that either yet. They showed me about how to do like basic DNA readings, with the beta huva, but they hadn't shown me anything about the other stuff. So you can play with that for a while. The more you play with it, the better you get at it. When you first start, you might not get any impression at all. You just need to build the frequencies and open the conduits in your system, and playing with it will help. I think we're done. Anything you want to say? Okay. It's funny. I don't usually. I try to find time for question and answers, and I don't usually find it. We could probably find it right now, but there are probably so many questions, and half of them right now, your questions would be our questions, because most of the material that you were given in this workshop is new to us as well, and we probably would have to say, well, we'll write that down, put it on hold, and we'll ask, what does this mean? What do we do with this? There's going to be a lot more answers given, and a lot more specifics about what is this going to look like in our hologram. I mean, what does a Hithara look like to the people walking it, to the ones who are in here? What does it feel like to be in suspended animation for an hour while you're still walking around thinking nothing's happening? I mean, do we see something? Do we feel something? If you have those kind of questions, so do we. And I do believe before the time comes, we'll be prepared more for what to prepare ourselves for in experiential terms. I'd like to thank you all for coming and for being with us and for hanging in there, because especially if you're new to the work, if you're new to the work and you just pop into these workshops at this level, I kind of really wonder who you are. Because you must be an avatar just dying to burst out of your skin, right? I'm awake, right? Because this is really, some people say, oh, gee, I came in late and there's a lot I didn't fill in the blanks or anything. I'm kind of lost. If you got guided to come to this workshop and you're here, you're not half as lost as you think you are. That you managed to get yourself here from the higher levels because you knew you needed the activations. So you're much more awake and aware than you realize, and that will probably start moving through. You might have needed somebody to point it out to you, but it's not that. These are the indigo teams, and at this point, I very rarely see a human in the audience. All right, they're usually the indigo children because they have the ability to activate fastest, and that's what's needed on the planet now. Because the more we activate, the more we can help the humans and the animals and the plants and everything else. So it's a pretty good assessment that once you get around to doing your beta huva scans, if it doesn't show indigo, just look a little deeper. Maybe it won't show you immediately. But simply indigo means that was the original angelic human imprint that the 24th strand Tyrannissium 2 human of Tara came out of, and out of those came the Tyrannissium 1 of Terra and the Tyrannissium 2 of Earth came out of those. So the 12th strand humans here are kind of like the children of the indigo children, and we're kind of like a race from the future, and that's more than kinda. We're a race from the future that incarnated backwards to come and save a place, because a lot of our smaller parts were still there. So I would just like to thank you for being here, and if you stick with it, I appreciate it. Unfortunately, it's easy at this point. Stare at some pictures cross-eyed. Great, no problem. I mean, it seems so silly. Really? That's all I have to do? Yeah, and a little bit of breathing. 6 steps. Right? Okay.
And, we'd like to wish you a happy kiss out and an expansive New Year.
Yes. Oh, yeah, we won't see him before that. Thank you. And I would like to thank Guys for all his contribution.
Thinking of which...
Yes.
Yes. Oh, no.
No, hold on.
Thinking of which, we ought to try and do something
You don't want
to get... We ought to try and do something to get copies of the True Christmas Story out, which Ash pulled through last year. And only the people that came to Peru really got to hear about it. It is the true Christmas story. It runs to, I don't know, maybe 6-7 pages length or something. It's something with Jane's help we'll figure out in the next week and see what we can do to get copies available to people. It was pulled directly off the CD. Yeah, it is really very, very moving. So you want to have a good cry this Christmas, get the copy. Anyway, that's it from me and that's it from her. And
we hadn't put it because unless people understand more of the work, she was asking if it would be on the internet. It's like one of those things that because there would be it would just stir up a whole bunch of the others to try to attack us because it would threaten their version. So it's more like we share it with the people who understand enough about our work
Yeah.
to not, throw stones and be name calling until they understand what's going on. So that's why it's not on the internet.
It's an extremely intimate story that
Yeah.
will resonate with the Indigo family, but would seem almost comical to people who haven't got a clue.
Not as
where
comical
where
as
the
their
truth
version.
lies. Yeah. That's why they have a comical version,
They
right?
have a morbid
Right.
sense of humor. He's talking to well, you know that, don't you? Hello.
Does that mean that somebody should be going to India? Because I have one member in my group that said no.
No, we were going to, but then...
Your back still?
Yes, I'm going to say my jacket's in my back.
Well, let me sit down that way. Right there.
Okay.
On straight.
Put that up with you.
No, what's
Hold that
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Maharata Kumbai Vectors Shana tu in Nebukai Uniblium by Vectai Mahabai Vectai Unure Yornam Or Ishtayon Te Ishtat Rasha Hewa Petate Uma Ashelom Tareja Intedore Sharayureya Kumtan Akumtan Sharayureya Kumtan Akumtan Sharayureya Kumtan.
Once was a night
Of a faraway dream. Once was a night when the candle fires burned. Once was a night when the nightingales sing. Once on this night worlds were born. Once on a day when the sun shone its brightest. Once on a day when the breezes rose high. Once on a day when the river shone with sorrow. Once on this day worlds were gone. But today, in this moment, in the heat of the fire, burns a long aching dream of life returned from the fire. Oh, come near, new life reborn. Come, come, rise from the waters. Come, come, rise from the sea. Reach forth, heart of the lion, ringing out from the ancient lands of destiny. Once were our peoples pure and of innocence. Once were our peoples loving and free. Once were our peoples alive with eternal light. Once were our peoples the higher lay in victory. Once came the wind dark and cold from the lowly places. Once came the spawn of the dark fallen sun. Once when the rays of the demon spread suffering, when stricken the higher they were done. But today, in this moment, in the warmth of the sun, as the longing people of the gold and silver one. Oh, come near, Haile reborn. Come, come, rise from the dreamlands. Come, come, rise from memory. Reach forth, children of El Haile. Camelot awaits thee where the golden portals call. Now in a dream all the worlds that had gone away, now in a dream waking forth to the dawn. Here in this dream reaching forth to the universe, call to the port of our home. Come, come, open the doorways. Come, come, let us be free. Here now we give of our love to thee, the homeland so long for, sacred Camelot. Excellent, guys. I love this song. It just gives me chills. I'm glad they didn't ask. You know, the activation key one, the one in Anahazi, I still have to look at that one. We haven't had much time to practice it. But if any of you would like to sing it, then know it, be my guest. You know?
Rosalie,
I've got that
she
far.
does it really good.
Does she? Where is she? Where is she? We want to sing it? Oh, would you sing it for us, please? It's kind of like a...
Do a solo.
Yeah.
What? What time?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, you could do it, yeah. That would be fine. That was for the 12th.
What do you think?
Yeah, she also was given the melody. She was given a melody for the 12th. So, yeah, we haven't heard it yet either, but I think it's the right one. I just get a feeling it's it.
I'll try it anyway.
She'll share that with us too. It's Rosalind, and she has a lovely voice.
Yeah. Yeah, they just kept coming to me in France, so it seeed to be.
I think you've got it.
Yeah.
I haven't even heard it yet, but it's
Yeah. So just bear with me. Right. Ishuraru an trivectus de Hamir. Ashalum tainua Orumata adinita Arshu etate kia Orumita isa Ijue inat As yurahi umeta Isa amorea Heia ete iurae Ishura arumeta Taeja intahumtan Taeja intahumtan. It should be sung a bit faster, but I did it slow.